to pjnet.tv. And I have just become aware that I have the wrong microphone hooked up, and I'm about to fix that as we speak. And you should have heard my voice get a little stronger right about now.
Okay. And okay. Good evening. It's PJ Net time. It is on every, let me get this right. It is the second Monday of the month, a night that we reserve for Lori Hayes, who joins us from the green, well, I say the green room. There, you see no green there, but it is, yes, the green room. And Lori, thank you so much for being here tonight. I really want to hear more. We didn't get enough time to really do a great job last time with respect to all the fun you had in St. Louis. And I guess you've had a month now almost to kind of I should say recover, but what you do, I hope, is hopefully there's been some follow-up and some good things going on.
It was an amazing thing. But first of all, I want to say tonight is Wednesday night. It might feel like a Monday.
Did I say Monday?
Wednesday.
It does feel like Monday, but thank you.
No worries. So I went to CPE, which is Christian Product Expo in St. Louis. It was really actually technically St. Charles. And it was the first time I had gone there. But the fun fact about that is I'm actually from that area. I was born 3 miles down the road from the CPE, which was really cool. So I had friends and family that lived there, and it was. But anyway, I had no idea what to expect from CPE. I had never gone before, so I kind of went blindly in. I mean, I did my research online, but I didn't really know what to expect, and it was absolutely amazing. And if you ever have an opportunity to go, it was a lot of fun. I highly recommend it.
How did you find? I mean, I guess you kind of knew of it in general, but first time you've ever been, why haven't you gone in the past?
Well, so this is the first time I've been traditionally published, so
okay.
That helped. And so I actually went to go with my publisher,
okay.
and they had a booth, and they had all of our books at the booth, but then they had set up a book signing for me. I was the first book signing of the very first day. So that was interesting.
So you didn't get a chance to let somebody else go first and learn anything. You just went in kind of cold turkey.
Sure, why not? And then on top of it, I had a radio interview on Faith Radio, and it was the day before.
That was huge.
And technically, yes. And technically, the expo wasn't open then, and I was also the very first slot of the whole weekend before the expo started. So there just must be something in that. But
Lori, the radio interview was huge. And now, has that aired yet, or is it going to be aired later? What's the story on that?
So Wednesday, September the 15th, I'm not actually sure what time. I can let you know.
Well, we got a little time between now and then. Not a lot, but some. Now, sounds like you were, when you got to the airport, was there a little guy there in a little hat for the limousine to pick you up? It sounded like
I
you
wish.
were given.
Maybe someday.
It must have felt good.
It was an amazing event, the entire thing. And then the following day, so what happens is, and I didn't really know what the book signing would be. I mean, were people from the outside allowed in? Who was I to sign books for? I really just didn't know this information. So I go in, and they have this beautiful setup for me with all my books stacked on this table. And there was at least one or two other authors at different tables. I think there was one other author. And so I probably had 75 books piled on this table. It was just amazing. And so basically what we did was we gave our books away for free to retailers.
Oh.
And so the retailers come to the show looking for products to sell in their stores, which makes sense. That's the name of the place, the event.
That's the idea.
So so I didn't know how that really worked, but everybody was really friendly, and they were very open and excited about my book. And as soon as I mentioned that I had wild horses in it,
Uh,
they were all interested in that. It was amazing.
I'm
The amount
surprised
of,
that you remembered to bring up wild horses, because you never really talk about them very often, do you?
I don't. It's not like well, you can't see the pictures I have
Yeah.
behind me on that,
Yeah,
but
I see one of them. Laura, you raised a question, and this is a question I have for you. I mean, I need to know, because you brought up an interesting point. This was the Christian Products Expo, so I assume that this
Mhm.
was not the public just walking in. You had to buy a ticket. Is that? Do
So
I have
you
that?
had to have, yes, you had
Okay,
to have a pass to get in,
to
and
get in.
everybody had their
Okay,
badges on.
okay, that's what I
So
thought.
yes,
So you're doing a book signing, but people have to be ticket holders to get
yes,
in, as opposed to when you did one at Barnes and Nobles. Normally, when I've been to bookstores, they don't have a cover
yes.
charge when you go in. So, because see,
Not
PJ
at my
Net,
level anyway.
right? PJ Net is holding an event January 15th, and you are invited because you are
Oh,
a published author. So any published author will have a table that they can put their books and do book signings and sell books if you can figure out how to sell it with your iPhone or whatever. But our producer Barbara brought up a good point. Is we're going to be tickets. I mean, are $40 to this event. So to get a book signing, you got to pay $40 to get in the door to buy a book to get it signed. And we were wondering, should we move the book signing outdoors? Maybe, But so
mm.
that clarifies. So
So, but these were retailers that paid to go
pay to get in,
to pay to get in, and then I mean they were wheeling around suitcases just stuffed with books. It
and you
was
didn't have to haul
amazing.
in those 75 books yourself. I'd love to see that.
And no, they had at least I well, not only did they have all those books on my table, they also had them stacked behind me on tables that had everybody's books. So I
Yeah.
mean, I'm just guessing they had 100, 150 books of mine there. I really don't know, but I gave so many books away and signed so many books, and I tell you, they put so much. Iron Stream put so much work into developing me. The first day was kind of crazy, just because I was the first one, and everybody was flooding in, and so it was very busy. But the next day they said, if you want to come back, if you have time and you want to come back, bless you,
Mhm.
and if you want to come back and just sign, we'll just put two at a table, we'll make room for you. That last day was when the retailers came and they ordered their books, so the more authors they had out there signing, the better. So I decided I was just going to devote my whole day to it. I probably spent 5.5 hours signing books the second day, but they just put all of their resources into me and teaching me how to talk to the people when they walk by, how to read their body language, if they were interested or not. So, to know, should you keep talking? Should you let them move on? And then she might say, oh, as soon as you said wild horses, did you see how she stepped towards you with a smile? You had her at the word wild horses. And they just put a lot of education into me. They gave me a lot of time. And even the night before, it was my first publisher's dinner. So that was really cool. And we were waiting for a table, and the marketing people were just filling me with ideas of things, promotional ideas of things I could do for my book. So that was exciting. And then on top of that whole thing, I had my first book signing at Barnes and Noble. And that was just an amazing high for me. Um, I felt so official. And when I first walked in, there was actually somebody waiting for me. That was really cool. I was just amazed by this whole thing. And then on top of it, I decided to make an event out of it. And I decided that I was going to invite all my high school friends and my relatives. I mean, we darn near had a reunion at
Hmm.
my book signing. And so all these people were there, and they pulled up chairs and they were sitting around, and we just had a really good time. And they invited me to come back and they asked me to come back the end of October, early November. So I'll probably
Barnes and Noble?
try to eat Barnes and Noble in St. Louis.
Wow.
So I'm going to go back probably early November because my book releases October 19th. And with the shipping being so slow right now, I want to make sure they have my book before I fly back there. So, and I just feel, go ahead.
What's kind of fun, it was sort of a class reunion, but did you, when we see some of the people, when I've been to those, some of the people that you thought were going to be very successful have kind of fizzled out because, and some of the people that you thought would be the least likely to succeed.
Yeah.
Did you have that sweet revenge at anybody that thought you weren't going to make it? Now all of a sudden you're the center of attraction.
No.
You're getting, oh really? I'd have rubbed it in their face.
No, because it was really just more intimate than that. It wasn't, 800 people showing up. It was, just a handful of people I keep in touch with on Facebook. And but the good news is I never had to sit alone and just stare at people. I always had people around me.
You've no doubt heard that friends come and go, right?
Sure.
But enemies accumulate.
I try not to have enemies. So this whole experience, first of all, I was just really excited. I got the day that everybody was leaving. It was the day after the expo ended, and my publisher actually got up from his table and he came over and he said, he gave me a compliment, and he was very enthusiastic about how I'm teachable, which is really important to be an author, is to be teachable. And that was one of the things I think they were concerned about when they bought my 2 books, because I was self-published. They were wondering, how teachable are you? How are you going to work with us? Which is reasonable. So I'm definitely invested in it. And so I feel like this is something I didn't foresee happening, but I feel like I'm leveling up into a new level of, like, it's kind of uncharted for me. And I hired a publicist.
Oh, I've got to hear about this.
I mean,
I got a bunch of questions.
Story about this. There's actually a story about this.
Well, tell me the story. I'll drink coffee.
So it is very important to go to conferences and to start networking, because you never know when these people are going to come back into your life. And it was 2010. I've been doing this a long time. And I was a member of the Heart of Carolina Romance Writers. I think that's what it was, but it's part of RWA. And you never know. It's really important to join these groups. And I got invited by one of the authors who was emceeing the Rita Awards, which is a huge deal. And I really didn't even want to go back to her room for this party. I was like, I really just want to go to bed. I'm exhausted, from the conference. You're just your eyes are red and you just want to sleep and you're just absolutely exhausted. And my friend said, Lori, everybody in the publishing business will be there. I mean, she emceed this whole thing. You need to go. You never know who you're going to meet. So I go up to the door and we knock on it, and they open the door and they look at me and they're all like, oh, we've been waiting for you. And I'm looking around like, how do they know who I even am? I'm just, I'm just, felt like a nobody. And so they dragged me in, and there was this publicist there, and she was wearing the exact outfit I was, from the pearls to the shoes, the dress, the earrings, the whole thing. I didn't know who she was at the time. And this person approached us and said, can we take your picture? And oh, sure, why not? And so the lady said to me, never be caught on camera with alcohol in your hand. They had given me champagne or something. And she said, you put that down for the picture. So I listened to her, and I did. And so it turns out later she she's a publicist for some very well-known authors. And after they took the picture, they handed me this card and said, "Oh, it'll be on our blog tomorrow." And I'm thinking, "Oh, blog, no big deal." It turned out to be Publishers Weekly. Okay? And that's a huge deal. And so every time you Googled my name for 5 years, that pulled up. So then, fast forward until about a month ago, I reached out to this lady, and she remembered me from the dress thing.
Okay.
And I hired her as my publicist. How cool is that?
That.
These are God moments, by the way. All these things, God was planting seeds in 2010 for me to, to set me up for now. It's just, if you really look back on it, it's just an amazing story.
Well, I don't know if you've come to this point yet, but you mentioned that you were exhausted, but you gotta just keep going,
Yeah.
But somewhere down the line, there had to be a point that the adrenaline rush was over. Have you reached that point? For one, first question, is it over yet?
I don't know. It just keeps going. It's just been a ride. I mean, it's just been amazing. There are hard moments, believe me, when I was editing 2 books at one time.
Mm-hmm.
It's Christmas time. I'm working. I have kids. Yeah. I mean, there were times where I would stay up until late, or I'd get up early or work on my lunch hour to get these books done. So I was exhausted, but I had to just keep believing all this is going to pay off. And it is, and it's just unfolding in this beautiful way. And so then on top of it, I'm searching for an agent, a different agent, and I reached out to a fairly big agent, and she was interested in my nonfiction proposal, and she said, "This is slightly the wrong angle. You need to come at it from this angle." Again, being teachable and being open, I thought, she's right, and I'm almost finished changing it. But she also said you need to have bigger social media numbers. Mm-hmm. So now is the time to start really working on your social media numbers. Okay. And I thought I was, I might have 10,000 people like on my social media. But if you're wanting to get into a bigger publisher, or whatever, so some of the medium-sized or smaller-sized publishers, 10,000 is enough. If you want to get into something bigger, you need to have 30,000, 40,000. So here I am. I'm almost ready to send this back to her. She said, "Send it back to me when you've, changed this, but you need to increase your social media numbers." Now I'm rushing, because how am I going to increase my social media numbers by 20, 30,000 in a time frame that I want? Well, so I ended up hiring somebody to help me on Twitter, because I do not know Twitter. It seems to be the fastest, easiest growing platform that I've found. And, so I ended up hiring somebody, and I really balked at that. And, I thought, I don't know. Let me tell you, she's only done this for 2 days, and she posted some questions on my Twitter feed. And I'm at work, and my phone is just going, buzzing on and on and on and on. And she had all this engagement where when I post something, nobody ever even notices. Well, it was just amazing to me.
Well, I know that you and every person who's tried to publish, has published, or is in right, they keep saying, build your platform, and the question comes up, well, how? And actually, Lori, I used to do that for political candidates on Twitter. Oh. And we have taken unknowns on Twitter and gotten them literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of retweets. But that was back in the day of the wild, wild west of Twitter. Now, everything you try to do is against the rules.
Yeah.
So it's a minefield out there. So hopefully your publicist will navigate themselves and you through that. I'm showing we got a couple minutes left. Okay. What does the future hold? We've heard all about the past month. What does the future hold for Lori?
I don't know. So I'm going to a Barnes & Noble event again in St. Louis in probably the next month. I am now learning that events are really important. So, I mean, when I
your microphone went away.
Didn't really.
It came back.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
So I didn't realize how important all these events really were, but now that I have a publicist, I'm learning really quickly. So I have all these Christmas events down at the coast that I'm going to be doing in December. So I have about 5 of them
Already.
for October and November so far.
Gosh, Lori.
So
Well, I hope
I'm getting there.
I hope that you'll be able to visit us next month in the month, because you're getting way too famous. I don't think,
I hope so.
you'll have to throw. So,
Like I said, and I'm doing a lot of praying. I'm praying that God just take this the way He wants, and
Lori,
and steers me. And there's even more good news and things, but that hasn't come to fruition completely. So I don't want to.
that's a
say
teaser,
any
folks.
of those
That's
things.
known in the business as a teaser. Okay, it's
I hope
probably
that's not
true, but we'll find. It gives us a reason. Lori, this sounds like a Cinderella story. I mean, it is
Thank you.
just so wonderful, and we are happy for you. But not only are we happy for you, Lori, we're darn proud of you. And
Thank you.
It is so good because so many
Oh.
people are struggling.
I have to say, I want to personally thank you on air, because when I had my radio interview, I was so nervous. And I thought, because they have 7.9 million weekly listeners.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
I just
about
kept
like
thinking
us.
about that. And, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh. So I sit down there, I do my deep breaths. Of course, I prayed about this. And I sat down in that chair with that microphone, and I thought, this is just like PJ Net. And it's just like when I talk to you, I'm just talking to Bob.
Mhm.
And that's what I did. And I got this calm that came over me. And I want to thank you for that, because anybody who wants to do PJ Net and hasn't done it yet, it has not only built my platform for my proposal, and it looks very impressive with all the things I've been doing on here.
Mhm.
And then on top of that, it gave me the confidence and the calmness to be able to do this interview. And I want to thank you for that.
Well, thank you, Lori. In fact, it's funny because Doug Carter had put in the chat room a few moments ago that being on this program is good practice, and I think it is, because a lot of people, not you, but a lot of people that are the first time guests, they are extremely nervous. And they say, I can't do this, and I say, look, we're just having a conversation, okay? I'm not
Right.
here to ask you embarrassing questions or call, I said, I'm here to support you. We are here to support you. We're just having a conversation that other people can listen in on. And invariably, the people that were the most scared are the ones who will later say, you made that easy. And it's like, well, I don't know we're just having a conversation. I'm not trying to make it easy. I'm not trying to make it hard. We're just talking.
Right.
And you're easy to talk. But I'll be honest with you, Lori, you're a lot easier to talk to now than when you were going through remember when you were so sick? Remember that? You couldn't even walk back from the mailbox. Remember?
Yes,
Yeah.
when I'm pretty sure I had COVID.
Yeah. I mean, there's
year
been
ago.
so many struggles, and just the
Yes.
light in your eye and the tone of your voice just tells me that things are going your way, and it's just radiating from
Thank
your
you.
face. So thanks for being with us tonight and sharing your optimism and your enthusiasm and your struggles. And we'll see you about this
Okay.
time next month.
Thank you for having me.
All right, glad to do it. Folks, that is the view of the Eagle's Nest, the broadcast studios here at pjnet.tv, and we are about to welcome our guest at the bottom of the hour. Normally that would be Michelle Medlock Adams, but she has made special arrangements for Amanda Flynn, who has been with us before, to come join us again. That'll happen in just a few moments. I need some time to get some things ready between now and then. Here's how I want to how I want to end this particular program. Well, the same way I end them all, with 2 questions. What's the boldest thing that you've ever done for Jesus Christ? And when was that? Let's not be satisfied with either answer.